Musician burnout is a real thing, and I wanted to talk with you really frankly and sincerely to see if I can't help you through it if that's what you're facing. So the reason we went into music, obviously 99% of the time, is because we love it. And in many cases, we feel there's nothing else we would be happy doing. We went into it knowing there's a good chance we might make no money, that people might not accept us, we might not get to perform, but we still felt we had to do it. And then what you obviously know if you're a musician, and if you're not, you need to know, is that musicians practice typically, at least in my case, 3 to 5 hours a day. A lot of your life is playing your instrument or teaching your instrument. You live with that instrument. Music is your whole life. Now, even if you love music to 1,000%, living the life of a musician can lead to burnout. And I'll describe what I mean. A typical good musician will teach at least one college or one music school. Often will teach at 2, 3, or even 4 I've heard of. And so they're driving all around to get to their next class they're teaching or their next student they're teaching. They will also teach privately at home. And then they're preparing classes to teach. They're grading papers. And all the while, they're also preparing for their own concerts. So they need to find time to practice for themselves. And typically, they are underpaid for their work. So it's really hard. After you leave conservatory, the reality of just trying to make a living, it hits hard, and it hits pretty soon. I want to show you a way that can help you through this. Because, it gets really challenging when you're, in my case, teaching the same material from Suzuki books or etude books that you've taught for 25 or 30 years. And then when a student makes a mistake, it's, the first time they've made that mistake, but it's the 10,000th time you've heard that mistake. And it's hard to approach it as if it's a new thing for that student and to help them. And, it's tough when you go and prepare several hours and rehearse several hours for a concert, and then you get the pay for that, and it's not what you hoped it would be. And the thing that I remind myself of that I think is very helpful is that it's an honor to be a musician. You went into music, I hope, not only because you loved it, but because you loved sharing it with people. When I think of some of the performances I've had in my life, some of the most fulfilling ones actually had no pay at all. Before I give a concert, I often will play in an assisted living home. That way you do a service and you also get to perform and work out some of the rough spots, or you want to change some things, you get to listen to your recording and see what you'd like to do with it. Pretty early on in my career, where I was doubting, as we musicians do, am I good enough? Is this something I should be doing? And I played a Rachmaninoff cello sonata, and at the end of it, an old gentleman came up to me and had tears in his eyes. And he said, I was extremely moved by that performance. That piece brings back happy memories for me. And I just wanted to say thank you for doing that. And I was so moved by that. I almost cried as well, just to see how directly and deeply it touched that person. And there was no pay for that concert, but I felt more fulfilled from that one concert. Your job is to share your art and your love of this music with other people and make a difference in their lives. I mean, think about it. They can get a recording, which is perfect, has no mistakes because it's been edited over and over again. But a live performance is something that can never be replaced. And you're the one doing that performance, and you're the one sharing yourself with them and giving your own personal take on it. And remembering that it's such an honor to do that makes all the hours and all the weeks and months you put in to learn these pieces worth it. And then we come to teaching. It can be a drag sometimes if your students show up and they haven't practiced, or they seem disinterested, or they're not listening to you. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. But I think on the whole, being a teacher is a noble profession, and especially a music teacher, because you affect your students in a way that will last a whole lifetime. Once you've given someone music, no one can take that away. When my father passed away about 15 years ago, there was a memorial for him, and all of these people of different ages showed up, and they were all his students, recent students or students from decades gone by. And they came up to me and they said, are you his son? And I just want to let you know your dad meant a lot to me. And then one of the speakers said, by their best estimate, my dad had taught about 5,000 students in his life. And I just was like, that's incredible. Think about that. He shared something with them. He made the world a better place because of his being a teacher. When you're a teacher, when you share yourself, your musical knowledge, your love for music with the students, even if you think they're not listening, or even if they don't work hard, you have to remind yourself that what you're doing is important. It's important to them. It's important to the world. And you have a huge effect on them, whether you realize it or not. What about the usefulness piece? Are musicians really useful? I mean, now when we have, especially we have AI, you can have AI music. And the answer is absolutely yes. Musicians and artists in general make life worth living. You've got to earn a living. You've got to be able to pay your bills. You want to be able to have food and shelter, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But once those have been met, it's important to have meaning in your life. And it's more than useful. It's necessary. No one speaks music as a second language. So music is a great art that touches people directly, even if you don't know a word of their language. So if you're facing burnout, the first thing I want to tell you is that I've been there, I know what it's like, and you can get through it. And the way you get through it, okay, is to remember you're doing what you love. You're not doing what someone told you to do. You're not doing something that you thought you ought to do to earn money. You're doing something because you were driven to do it and to share it with people. And even though you're stuck in traffic on the Beltway, or at the moment you're teaching someone who isn't listening to you, or you're giving a performance and the audience doesn't seem receptive at that particular moment, you are doing something special and unique. You're in a small club of people in this world who can share an art which is invaluable, important, and you are sharing something that touches people. Just remember, you're doing something you love. The hard times do come, but they come for everyone in every profession. Be happy that if you are feeling burnt out, you're not feeling burnt out in a profession that you hate. You're simply facing challenges in a profession that you love. And I wish you all the best. And I'm there for you. If you want to talk, if you want to leave some thoughts in the comments, I can help you. Let's help each other. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.